Hey team, Luke at Crusader Machining here. Welcome back for another video. Last video I made, I showed a brief but very interesting tour of some of my vintage machining items and machines. A lot of my old lathes we went over. Check it out if you're interested. Find it at my channel. Today's video, we're also going to go back in time and do a little history lesson about a company that helped to pave the way for the machining industry we know today. In no way in anything about this video is it an endorsement or support thereof. It's just a history lesson of a company that helped pave the way for what we do today. Hardinge. We're going to go over the Hardinge Cataract lathe. Hardinge Company, originally Hardinge Brothers, is a renowned American machine tool company specializing in precision lathes. It was founded in 1890 in Chicago, Illinois, my backyard, by Canadian-born brothers Franklin and Henry Hardinge. They started manufacturing fine precision tools for jewelry and watchmaking, including a small foot-powered lathe. In roughly 1902, Hardinge acquired the rights to the Cataract line of bench lathes from the Cataract Tool and Optical Company out of Buffalo, New York. Their reputation was known for high precision, small lathes. The company Hardinge incorporated and grew, focusing on super precision turning machines and accessories. In 1931, they merged with Morrison Machine Products and relocated to where we now know them in Elmira, New York. They advanced from there into what we know. They make some of the highest precision machines in our industry. But the history lesson, not endorsement, that we're going over today has to deal with the Cataract lathe. The Cataract was a benchtop model lathe known for high precision for jewelers and watchmakers. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go over a little bit more detail on what this machine is, what it can do, and how ultra cool it really is. So here is the Cataract lathe. I briefly showed it last week. Hardinge Brothers in Chicago, Illinois. So this was before Hardinge went to New York, where they're now in Elmira. This is our headstock, and this headstock moves along the bed, and the way that we tighten that once you get it to position that you want is with these here. This is actually what we're going to do right now. Move it into the position where you'd want it. You're adjustable, or at the time, they would definitely have a wrench dedicated to this. Those are tightened down, and they're actually surprisingly powerful. And we're going to do the same thing with our turret. If I'm going to try to index, you can see it move. It'll move, so I need to tighten that down. Now I'm in. If this was your machine on your production line, you'd put it where you want to and tighten it down. And I would say one of the coolest features of this is the turret. Hopefully you can get a good sound of that satisfying mechanical American metal. And the way that we would mount a tool in here, these screws have a little cam on the inside, almost like a cam, and you would mount your tool where you wanted it. Pop your tool in whatever position you needed to tighten up around the tool. This is a production machine designed to reproduce, and the way that we know that, other than our history lesson, this stop back here. So as you index, the turret moves and this will move, and you would set a stop on how far you wanted your stroke to be, meaning how far you would want your drill to go into your workpiece. Now we're going to go a little point of view action. Here's our 3-jaw chuck. And on our 3-jaw chuck, you can see there's this little screw that goes into this channel. See, I moved the turret right out of the way. And as you move it into the channel, it's going to go in and you're going to move off to one side. It's going to go into the channel. You'd move it off to one side, and I felt it lock in. And then you're going to tighten that little set screw down. Our chuck is mounted. And we got just the Cutest little chuck key here. And our scroll chuck. And this is the original chuck that came with the headstock. Now, if there, the spindle, and if there's a history buff out there, a Hardinge history buff, please chime in. This, I'm pretty sure, is aftermarket, that it wasn't from. Probably my favorite thing about this machine when I got it is our compound cross slide. And on there it says Elgin Tool Works. The way that this mounts in our bed is with this T-nut. Goes into our slot, and then on the bottom is this handle that'll tighten it down, and I'll show you that right now. T-nut is going to go into the slot. This little rectangle part is going to drop right into that slot on the bed. This is going to thread underneath to tighten it down. Slot. And now, as easy as that, our cross slide is mounted. But this wouldn't be more for production. The slide, and there's a little lock on here to lock your position in. And you can see, need to clean this puppy up a little bit. You can see the numbers on here for the angles that you would locate it on. And then a close-up of our cute little dials. That's backlash. Compound here, although it's very cool, it's not what you would use for production. This is the one that you would use for production. And imagine this was all handmade, no CNC, just pure, raw American passion. It's going to go on the same way, except the slot's going to go in the side. These angles here match the angles to the bed. And here's the block that would go into the T slot on the tool base. You'd put that to the position you wanted, and then this a lantern style tool post would go into here where you would want it. Here and there is your stop to set your stroke on how far you want to go up or back for your cut. Similar to the other parts of this, when I got it, it did not work at all, but now it is smooth and it is tight. This slide would be used more for production. You'd set your stop on either side on how far you had to move in and how far you had to move out. Very similar to the way these stops here work on our turret. One last thing I want to cover is the overall craftsmanship. Look at the handle for the collet open and close. I just love the feel. I love the look. The rope knurls. And imagine, and even the faceplate, solid brass. What I love most about these old machines is thinking that none of this was made using CNC. It was all a group of people that had a design, had some blueprints, an idea, and a lot of passion, and made each one individually by hand. That is like the coolest part of these old machines. Hey team, once again, Blucher Crusader Machining, signing out of this video for today, but not before I show you two cool things I found in my grandpa's old tools. Nice little prison shank that he made, and this cool deburring tool. I've got a couple boxes full of old stuff that he made and used over the years, and I'll cherish it forever, just like this Hardinge Cataract lathe. So thank you for watching. I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the Cataract. This is probably my favorite old vintage machine that I own. not just because of how old it is, but because of how complete it is with all the different attachments and collets and tools and all this original Hardinge stuff. And as we know, Hardinge is not an endorsement of the company or the brand. Hardinge paved the way for the rest of the industry that we know today, along with South Bend, Lawsing, Brown and Sharp, and Cincinnati, and Bridgeport, and all these wonderful American manufacturing companies that made our country great and made our country run. So thank you for watching. Drop a comment below. Do you like these videos? I have a bunch of older stuff I can continue to go over. You like old vintage machinery? Do you have any? And if not, you should get some ASAP. Check out Facebook Marketplace. Every now and again, you'll find a gem, how I found here. Find me at my socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and give me a comment, only if you like the video. Luca Crusader Machining, signing out.